While Vietnam has been a steady and constant presence in the subject of the Joiner workshops, there have also been writers and teachers over the years from Central America, Northern Ireland, the Middle East, and this international collaborative work seems to have just begun with the recent Joiner workshops partners of the Warrior Writers, a group of post 9/11 veterans and writers. This next group of individuals will bring, it will be three names that I'll call. The first one, his name is Layth Sidiq. Layth was born in Iraq and raised in Jordan, where he started his musical training at the National Music Conservatory. Layth is a graduate of Berklee College of Music and holds a master's degree from Berklee Global Jazz Institute. I checked out some of Layth's work, particularly some of the stuff he has online, and if you get the chance to, he has a 30-minute lecture on Iraqi music, and it speaks about the rhythms and melodies of Iraqi music, and it will help you to better understand the music itself, how it relates to the culture, and if you get his album, Son of Tigris, it will all begin to make much more sense. After Layth, we will have formidable Carolyn Forche. She is a professor of English and the director of the Lannan Center for Poetics and Social Practice at Georgetown University. She's the author of 4 books of poetry, including the forthcoming In the Lateness of the World from Blood Axe Books, and she is the editor of the seminal anthology Against Forgetting, 20th Century Poetry of Witness, and she's received numerous awards. And then following her will be Yusef Komunyakaa, who was the author and editor of numerous collections of poetry and translation, including Dinki Dao. He was also for Neon Vernacular, which he won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry, as well as the Kingsley Tufts Poetry Award. And he is a senior faculty member at NYU's Creative Writing Program. So if you will, please give a hand for Layth, then also for Carolyn, and also for Yusef Komunyakaa.
Good evening, and thank you so much for being here. I'm very happy to be here with you all. Thanks to Mitch and the Joiner Institute for inviting me to be part of this celebration. And again, my name is Layth, and I was born in Baghdad, Iraq, and moved to Amman, Jordan when I was about a year old. Played the violin from a very young age, and I also was born into a musical family. And hearing the beautiful words from both Danielle and Bruce, thank you for that. And I wanted to also, of course, I'm going to play the violin, but I wanted to share also a poem that I'm going to be performing, singing for you. It's a poem by a writer called Abbas bin al-Ahnaf, and he's an Iraqi poet from the 12th century. I'll read the poem and I'll translate it and I'll perform it. It says, أيا لك نظرة أودت بقلبي فغادر سهمها قلبي جريحة فليت أميرتي جادت بأخرى فكانت مما ينكى الجروح فإما أن يكون بها شفائي وإما أن أموت فأستريح. And what the poem means is saying, he's addressing a lady. He's saying, you have a kind of gaze that took away my heart and left it wounded. But I wish that you, my princess, can give me again another one of those gazes, because it opened up something new inside of me. And this thing will either be my cure or it's going to leave me dead. أيا لك أيا لك نظرة أودت بقلبي وغادر سهمها قلبي جريحا. أيا لك نظرة أيا لك نظرة أودت بقلبي وغادر سهمها قلبي جريحا فليت أميرتي أودت بأخرى فليت أميرتي جادت بأخرى فكانت مما أنكل جروحا وإما أن يكون بها شفائي وإما أن أموت Thank you. Thank you. So next I'm going to be performing a piece on the violin, one of my compositions entitled Unshakable Roots, and it's part of the album Son of Tigris. And this album really was a culmination of a whole experience of education, of course, at Berkeley, but at the same time it's a kind of a journey, a return to my roots in a way. Of course, I grew up in Jordan most of my life, then I went to the UK and finally here in the US, so I've been traveling the world, but this past year, I really wanted to go back and just revisit my Iraqi roots, musically, culturally, and so on, and see what is in there for me. And this whole suite, the album is a suite of 4 movements, each one describing a specific event that Iraq has went through. The first one is entitled Baghdad, so it describes the city where I grew up, the river, the Tigris and the Euphrates, both the rivers that pass through Baghdad. And it's just a musical description of the city, in a way, the way I see it, at least. Second piece is called The Fog, and it just describes the wars that the country's been through and is still going through, and all the destruction that's going on there. The third movement is entitled Eastern Waves, and basically it's a journey of immigration, and it doesn't necessarily mean talk necessarily about the Iraqi people per se, but it really is a universal theme of immigration, because all kinds of people have been through it in history, have had to face that journey. And the last movement, which is the one I'm going to perform, is entitled Unshakable Roots. Basically, the idea of it is just being in a new environment, in a new city, in a new place, and how much our roots really is within the people themselves, and not only in the earth where they live. So it's Unshakable Roots.